Now, you probably heard someone say it already. You gotta train your ladies, bro. And there are tons of benefits when it comes to plant training. And there are also tons of options. But one of those options I'm never doing again, I'm never tying down a plant branch again in my life. Now, low stress training is fantastic. When it comes to low stress training, there are tons of different ways you can do it, but the one that comes to mind is tying down your branches, grabbing a piece of string, popping a hole into your plant pot, and tying those branches and pulling them down, evening out that canopy so you can get maximum yield. But as I've got more and more years of gardening under my belt, there's certain things about that process that doesn't sit well with me, and also there are a few risks and dangers that you'll need to look out for. Those things can cause stress, stunted growth, and just affect your yields negatively. And there's certain extreme situations where you can kill off parts of your plant if it's not handled properly. Now, I was one of those guys doing tons of low stress training, tying down my branches, using these little things, bread bag ties to tie down my branches. And over time, I found that I've hated doing it, man. I really did not enjoy doing it. Not only did I have to pop a hole in my plant pot, but also I found myself snapping and breaking a lot of branches, trying to pull things down just a little bit too far, and in so doing, branches snap off completely, and that obviously affects my yield. Now, snapping or breaking branches is usually caused by bending your branch too far or pulling it down too hard, especially on some of those more mature branches that have hardened off a little bit, or if they're just a little bit more woody and a little less young. Man, that didn't sound too right. Always bend slowly and gently. Use your fingers to support the branches as you bend. But I found that snapping and breaking branches was really annoying. Now back to those ties that I was talking about. Some of these little ties that folks use literally look like these little bread ties that you get on a bread bag. Over time, these or other things like wire, fishing wire, or other types of plant ties can literally cut into your plant stalks if you're not readjusting. So you got to be constantly readjusting. If you're not in the garden, those can literally cause lacerations on your plant stalks and stems. And if things get really bad, these little twisty ties can literally cut off nutrient and water flow and lead to a lot of issues like necrosis in your plants. Use softer ties like garden tape or some of those LST ties that bud trainers got. Those will be a little better, but you still gotta be in there and making sure to reassess and readjust those ties so that they do not cut into your plant stalks. Because again, those can actually be fatal if it's really bad. Now, the running theme of today's video, guys, is low stress training, and you want to avoid some of those situations where low stress turns into high stress. Overtraining, tying down too many branches at once, stressing out on already weak or sick plant, these are all things that can cause high stress. And you may notice things like slowed growth, drooping leaves, issues with plant health, or just vulnerability to pests and diseases, and that's not something that you really want. So to avoid that, train gradually over time. Watch your plant's reaction, see how they respond, and then go back in with some more training. And also, a pro tip, avoid some of those heavy training sessions, especially during environmental stresses like heat waves or just after transplant. Now, another reason why I hate tying down branches in that form of LST, and I'm going to show you guys what's my favorite form of LST at the end, so make sure you guys stick around for that, but I hate having some of those issues where I'm trying to tie down on unstable or weak anchor points. And basically what I'm trying to say is that, for instance, if you're using a fabric pot, those fabric pots have like zero structure, so you got to use a plastic pot. But if you're using that fabric pot, some of them do come with grommets that are supposed to help with low stress training, and in so doing, they're just not really stable. Those anchor points are pretty weak, and what I'm trying to hold doesn't really hold as well, and that's just my personal view and something that I've noticed as I try to train in fabric pots. And it's not just that, but if you're using things like these little plant stakes that actually hook and pull your plants down, sometimes in fabric pots, these actually don't even stick into the medium as good. Simply because in those fabric pots, these stakes shift because that substrate just doesn't hold as well, because the container that's holding it is not as structurally sound. Now, in the past, when I am doing low stress training, I've used stuff like these little binder clips that you can get anywhere at any stationery store. And what I do is pretty much clip that on to the end of the container, and that acts as an anchor point. So that way you don't actually have to stick any holes into your plant pot, but also you get a nice little anchor point, tie down branches and hook your plant on safely. So it's pretty useful and it's pretty strong as well. I'm holding on to the binder clip, and this is filled with medium. So snapping and breaking branches, forgetting to adjust ties, overstressing and weak anchor points are all reasons that I use these instead. And I still do low stress training, but I just don't tie down branches anymore. And as you guys can see, I got a bunch of these little LST clips, and these are what I've been using for the past at least 5 or 6 years when it comes to plant training. I cannot tell you guys the last time I've tie down a plant branch. Actually, I can. It was when I was showing you guys how to tie down your branches on the channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you get great videos like that. But something that you guys would have heard us say on this channel is that these LST clips work a treat. These are fantastic. Now, these are LST clips from Bud Trainer, and all you do is slip your branch through here and it bends perfectly. With these, no more broken branches, no more split stems, no more overstressing or weak anchor points, because you don't need to anchor anything. All you need to do is slip these little LST clips on. And over time, obviously, the plants will adjust and show up to that light, and you can just throw a few more clips on there. Really simple and stress-free. And these little clips are designed to break before the branches do. So if you forget to readjust and your branches are getting too strong, then these little clips will just snap right off. But most times, I've found that I've had no issues even if they grow too big. Because it's only on one side of it, the plant can still grow around on the other side, and usually I can still just pull them right off. So try some of those LST clips. They've changed the game for me, and I'm guaranteeing they'll change the game for you. Try the Bud Trainer ones. Use the code icanthc and you get a nice little discount on those clips. They've also got some really nice low stress training wires and ties, so try those out as well. Now real quick, one thing you guys should definitely try out is that iCan Organics. The bundle, the veg pack, and the flower power works absolutely amazing. Your plants will love it. You could partner that up with Recharge. I've been getting some beautiful harvest partnering that up with Recharge. Use the code icanthc on the Recharge or on the iCan Organics, and also you can use it and get a nice little discount on some of those beans. We got some new genetics and new drop coming out pretty soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that, because I don't want you guys to miss out. But if you guys want to get some absolute fire and get those mailboxes burned down, then join the iCan VIP Bean Club, because like I said, mailboxes are always burning down. So those are some of the main reasons why I've stopped tying down branches and pretty much transitioned to the LST clips. I pretty much got a big bag of them, and I can always use more because that's how great they are. But drop it in the comments down below and let me know what's your preference when it comes to training. Do you guys like low stress training, high stress training? You guys do a bunch of super cropping, topping, fimming? What's your preference? Do you prefer tying down branches, or do you already use some of those LST clips? Drop it in the comments and let me know. And if you want to find out more about growing that fire, then check out any episode on screen right now, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, fam.